Hare Krishna, invocation prayers, please.
Can I do, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Om Jalajalakaya Satguru Varnilitanena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhyam Sthabinam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tatanti Padantikam Pandeyam Sri Guru Sri Radhakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajagam Saguna Raghunatapitam Chajivam Satvaitam Savadodam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalitam Sri Vidhanka Vidamcha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpagarubheshya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Paditanam Pavaneshu Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today I will first answer inquiries from last class and bring up striking points on screen. Then we'll aim to cover Canto 4, Chapter 27. And time permitting, towards the end of our class, I will show you a YouTube channel that we have created for all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recordings that we have for all the batches and all the scriptures. I will be giving you access for all those. So I will show you time permitting. Otherwise, I will show you in subsequent class. So question number 1, as you can see on the screen. How can an innocent person begin his religious life? Person who doesn't know anything about religiosity. Answer is by the causeless mercy of pure devotees. Ordinary persons or even sinful persons go on to purify themselves. Example, Srila Narad Muni saw a hunter half killing animals. So Srila Narad Muni asked the hunter to stop hurting animals and asked him to chant Lord's name. Because of sinful activities, the hunter could not say Rama. Hence the hunter asked Srila Narad Muni, I cannot say Rama. What do I do? So Srila Narad Muni said, you are killing animals. In Hindi, the word Mara means to kill or killed. So Srila Narad Muni told the hunter to chant Mara. And he says Mara, 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 Mara continuously. It actually sounded and became Rama, Rama. And the hunter goes on to purify himself. Hence, for the benefit of ordinary people, we go out on preaching endeavors to give ordinary people to have a chance to get association of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna via books and prasadam. Or even the Rath Yatra parade is a chance for ordinary people to get Agyat Sukruti simply by ordinary people glorifying the beautiful kirtan, dancing, etc. We have discussed an example for this in Canto 1, Chapter 5, with the life of Shanad Muni, his previous life of Shanad Muni as a 5-year-old boy, that the Bhakti Vedantas engaged him in service. So you will notice when you say are sitting live in a spiritual master's class at the temple or any place. So these small kids, the devotees, young kids, the spiritual master will engage the kids in something, say, oh, bring me this book, or give this printout to other devotees. So what the spiritual master is doing is engaging the kid in services, and the kid does the service nicely. The spiritual master gets purified and showers his mercy onto the kid. So these are some of the ways on how ordinary people having no knowledge of religiosity can somehow jumpstart their path of spirituality. Does that answer the inquiry?
That means, Prabhuji, that is Krishna shows mercy on that person.
Correct.
Okay.
Question number 2 is the narrative. How do we come back to our good intelligence in Krishna consciousness? Very much relevant in Kali Yuga. Absolutely correct. So now striking points, we have 2 slides. This is slide number 1. Take a snapshot. And this is slide number 2. So some of you devotees are not completing the spiritual endeavor. I request you to please endeavor. This is a common issue across all batches, and I have explained multiple times that I have record that all those devotees who do not complete spiritual endeavors, they end up leaving the path of spirituality sooner or later. I have a record. It's a common reason that all those who do not complete spiritual endeavors, they end up leaving the path of spirituality. So take some time. It doesn't take you long. Take some time to complete the spiritual endeavor and ask inquiries. Everybody can please try to do that. Uncle has a question.
Prabhuji, Krishna consciousness never lost. But like the neglected queen, they remain dormant within their heart. Only awakening starts and repentance happens over a period of time, which is automatic. Am I correct or incorrect?
So your one point is correct about Krishna conscious being dormant in everybody. Yes, Krishna consciousness is present in everybody's heart in a dormant state. But awakening is not automatic. There has to be some endeavor. There has to be a mercy. Then that awaken happens.
Now, take, for example, my own, I'm questioning this to myself. When I was a young boy, I used to do puja every day in the morning during my school days, nearly for about 8 years. Morning I will take bath because my father encouraged that. He used to go to Balaji temple for 35 years to Tirupati every year. So he felt that I should do that. But after finishing the school, when I went to the college, and up to coming here, this Krishna consciousness never happened. But I have seen in YouTube, not YouTube, some of the news in New York, Krishna conscious people, the roadside, they go with Radha and all. But nothing triggered me as it triggered after coming to Toronto. So, is it this dormant stage is an awakening by the mercy of Lord Krishna, or I'm destined to have only in the last phase of my twilight of lifespan?
So for yourself, if you ask Mother Chandra Aunty, I had this discussion with Mother Chandra Aunty long time ago
I see.
that originally only Mother Chandra Aunty was attending the classes and you did not attend the classes. But Mother Chandra
Correct.
Aunty is saying he's sitting behind and the speaker is going on and you are listening, or you are also listening to Prabhupada lectures. And I told Mother Chandra Aunty, yeah, just continue. That just hearing Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that will purify, even though you are right now not interested. So what happened was that you got the association of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna through the books, even though you were not consciously attending the classes, but that hearing was still generating the purification, or the purification process was happening. So Mother Chandrati can weigh in there. I had this exact same conversation with her long time ago. So awakening happens because of association of pure devotee and because of association with books and kirtan, etc. So we go out on book distribution also, and simply they're taking the books and sometimes say, I'm not interested in spirituality. And we tell them, yeah, just take the book if you are interested. The book itself is Gopinath. We don't tell them that. But the book, the voice of coming from the books, the Prabhupada lectures that you were listening, all that was association. That's what awakened, not automatically. That's what awakened. Uncle?
Prabhuji, actually, this happened about 4 years back. Just then I had undergone bypass surgery. I was rehabilitating, and the fatigue was there, and I was always feeling sleepy, and the medication was given accordingly. At that time, I don't do anything half-hearted manner. If I am committed and I will, whether rain or shine, I'll accomplish it to full satisfaction of myself, because my own shadow is my rival. That why you are not performing, it speaks to me. So that is how. And slowly, when I became stronger, not feeling sleepy, dozing, and automatically I will go to sleep while sitting posture. So that was the situation. But anyhow, as you rightly pointed out, when we received Bhagavad Gita, somebody who gifted it to us and told, we are giving Bhagavan to you. So I think it has triggered.
Yeah.
And moreover, participating, one day I listened and it generated, triggered more and more the taste of it. That is it.
Yeah, you are correct. So the association, so there's multiple association that Mother Chandranti is there, that she was attending the classes regularly, Prabhupada lectures, books. So all that plays a role, uh, whether or not you realize. So even though you were sitting silently in a corner while Mother Chandranti was listening, you are still getting the benefit. So I've discussed the example that Prabhupada has explained this multiple times, that when we chant japa, We chant little loudly so even the insects in the house, whether or not we are able to see the insect gets the benefit by our chanting because the insect is hearing. Therefore, we chant just about little louder so that the insect can, or everybody gets the benefit. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, nowadays he do the chanting also, Prabhuji, with us in the evening.
Very good. All right. So we'll discuss Canto 4, Chapter 27 is a little straightforward chapter. The discussion about the allegorical story continues. So Canto 4, Chapter 27 is titled Attack by Chandvega on the city of Puranjana and the character of Kalakanya is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is verses 1 to 5. Puranjana enjoys his queen, forgetting time. Part 2, verses 6 to 12. Expansion of Puranjana's family and his old age. Part 3, verses 13 to 18. Chandvega attacks Puranjana's city. Part 4, verses 19 to 30. The story of Kalakanya, the daughter of Chandvega. Part 1 is that being overwhelmed by illusion, Puranjana enjoys with his wife and thus his youth is being passed. So we will read one verse at a time and do a comparative spiritual significance of what the verse is saying. Shivangi, verse 1 translation.
Hare Krishna, text 1. The great sage Nanda continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Puranjana gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him.
So this is about enjoyment. And the spiritual significance is that giving up the inclination for sinful life, the jiva becomes attached to dharmic intelligence. Now, although he is enjoying with his wife, so why the spiritual significance of getting attached to dharmic intelligence? Basically, and we'll discuss more on this, that the jiva is giving up sinful way of enjoyment and is coming to a dharmic way of enjoyment. So verse 1 purport describes how can sinful life be counteracted? Answer is sinful life can be counteracted by various processes of religion such as yajna, vrata or dana. The performance of sacrifices like taking a vow or some religious ritual, giving charity, etc. In this way, one can become free from the reactions of sinful life, and at that time, he awakens his original Krishna consciousness. So the conclusion is that household life is better than sinful life of unregulated sense gratification. And of course, as long as in the household life, one is striving to be detached. Questions, comments? Aditi or Sridhar or Kalyani, verse number 2 translation. Shivangi has a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was just curious about something. We've talked about it before, but do you know how you always used to say householders, they want to have children, and that's the only amount of times they engage in sex enjoyment is or sex relations. Is that normal even in ISKCON? Like all the Matajis and the Prabhujis we meet when we go to the kitchen and do service, is everybody like that, or is there like for a practical marriage, is there a different type of rule? Like,
Yeah, so the rule is what you pointed out is correct, that only for procreation of Krishna conscious children, the devotee husband and wife will engage in physical relationship only for 1 or 2 times for procreating children. Now, this is the rule. Whether everyone follows or not, that is their personal choice. So everybody gets initiated, but that does not mean everybody is a good disciple. Like, it still is their individual choice whether to follow the processes properly or not. Yes, many do follow. Whether 100% of them follow, I don't know. So we have to understand that our progress will depend on how much endeavor we put in and how much we follow the instructions of Krishna. So there would be initiated devotees who may not follow. Well, then their progress will be hampered. Now, not only this, there were actually cases across ISKCON where not just this, but initiated devotees have engaged even in illicit relations. So they then go through their purification, or they repent what they're doing, and then they come back to again following the rules and regulations. Because we read last class, I think it was last class, in one of the purport we read that the attraction of the opposite sex is very, very strong. And we have discussed this in Nectar of Devotion also, that the gopis' attraction for Krishna is not mundane level, but Rupa Goswami describes as a comparison uh, to the as if it's the sex life attraction, just to make a point that the gopis' intensity for serving Krishna is significantly greater compared to what people in the material world have about the attraction towards members of opposite sex. Because that attraction in the material world for members of opposite sex is the strongest attraction, strongest pull. So Rupa Goswami is just trying to compare the sexual attraction, saying the sexual attraction that people have in the material world is very, very tiny compared to the intensity that the gopis have to serve Krishna. Shivangi, does that answer?
It does, Prabhuji. So even if someone gets initiated between husband and wife, if they decide that they still want to have relations, it's up to them. It's not against. Is it against the instructions of their guru? Are there concessions given to couples?
So it is again, it is against the instruction of guru. I think it should be. We have read this in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. I can bring the verse next time. I don't remember the reference right now. I'll bring up the reference at the next class, that if the disciples engage in physical relationship without the permission of spiritual master, it basically is illicit relation, even with married husband and wife. And you are breaking the vow. There's no such thing as concession given. The concession is only given when the disciple says, I am ready to procreate for Krishna conscious children. There's no such concession that, okay, I want to enjoy for a little while. Can you give me concession? It does not exist that way. Concession is only when you are ready to take up the responsibility for procreating Krishna conscious children. But if somebody does not follow the rules, it's up to them individually whether to follow all the instructions of Guru and Krishna or some of the instructions. And their progress will depend accordingly. Shivangi.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes.
Sridhar, verse 2.
The queen took her bath and dressed herself nicely with all auspicious garments and ornaments. After taking food and becoming completely satisfied, she returned to the king. Upon seeing her beautifully decorated, attractive face, the king welcomed her with all devotion.
So welcome is the key point, and the spiritual significance is that seeing the happiness of his dharmic intelligence and being freed from contaminations in his mind, he felt successful. Mother Jija, verse 3 translation.
Verse 3 translation. Queen Puranjani embraced the king, and the king also responded by embracing her shoulders. In this way, in a solitary place, they enjoyed joking words. Thus, King Puranjana became very much captivated by his beautiful wife and deviated from his good sense. He forgot that the passing of days and nights meant that his span of life was being reduced without profit. Hare Krishna.
So verse number 3 purports describes the word pramad. So as we read, Mother Jija will read verse 3 purport. Does anybody remember where have you heard the word pramad before? Anybody remembers pramad? Very famous verse, at least one. There's many places, at least one verse is very famous. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 33-34, Arjuna is describing the 4 serious characteristics of the mind. Pramad is one of them. So in the purport, Prabhupada describes both meaning. One is from what is there in 6.33-34, and another meaning here. So let's see what Prabhupada is describing about pramad. The Jija, verse 3 purport.
Purport. The word Ramada in this verse is very significant. A beautiful wife is certainly enlivening to her husband, but at the same time, in the cause of degradation. The word pramada means enlivening as well as maddening. Generally, a householder does not take the passing of days and nights very seriously. A person in ignorance takes it as the usual course. These that days come, and after the days, the nights come. This is the law of material nature. But a man in ignorance does not know that when the sun rises early in the morning, it begins to take away the balance of his life. Thus, day after day, the span of one's life is reduced, and forgetting the duty of human life, the foolish man simply remains in the company of his wife and enjoys her in secluded place. Such a condition is called Krista Chetana or degraded consciousness. Human consciousness should be used for elevation to Krishna consciousness. But when a person is too much attracted to his wife and family affairs, he does not take Krishna consciousness very seriously. He thus becomes degraded, not knowing that he cannot buy back even a second of his life in return for millions of dollars. The greatest loss in life is passing time without understanding Krishna. Every moment of our life should be utilized properly, and the proper use of life is to increase devotional services to the Lord. Without devotional service to the Lord, the activities of life become simply a waste of time. Srama eva hi kevalam, simply by becoming dutiful, we do not make any profit in life, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.8. Dharmam swanushtaha pumsam visvakasena kathasu yaha not padayad yada ratim sarma eva hi kevalam. If after performing one's occupational duty very perfectly, one does not make progress in Krishna consciousness, it should be understood that he has simply wasted his time in valueless labor. Hare Krishna.
So the verse talk about being captivated, and the spiritual significance is that he lost his intelligence for crossing samsara. And in the purport about the word pramad, that beautiful wife is certainly enlivening to her husband, but at the same time is the cause of degradation. So pramad means enlivening as well as maddening. Generally, the householder does not take the passing of days and night very seriously. With the rise of sun every day, one's life is getting reduced, and one is forgetting his duty of human life. The materialistic man is simply remaining in his wife's company. Prabhupada says human consciousness should be used for elevation to Krishna consciousness. But when a person is too much attracted to spouse and family affairs, he does not take Krishna consciousness very seriously. And he cannot buy back even a second of the life wasted, even if he's ready to give millions of dollars. And this discussion continues in verse 4 and 5 for this part 1. Gopal, 4 and 5 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 4 translation. In this way, increasingly overwhelmed by illusion, King Puranjana, although advanced in consciousness, remained always lying down with his head on the pillow of his wife's arms. In this way, he considered woman to be his ultimate life and soul. Becoming thus overwhelmed by the mode of ignorance, he could not understand the meaning of self-realization of his self or of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 5 translation. My dear King Prachna Barishat, in this way, King Puranjana, with his heart full of lust and sinful reactions, began to enjoy sex with his wife, and in this way, his new life and youth expired in half a moment. Hare Krishna.
Questions, comments, realizations on first part. It's pretty straightforward. So part 2 is verses 6 to 12. Expansion of Puranjana's family and his old age. So Puranjana's sons, daughters, grandchildren all became plunderers of his wealth. Puranjana is still attached to all of them. Chandra Aunty, 6 to 10 translations are straightforward on Puranjana's family expansion.
Text 6. The great sage Narada then addressed King Prachinabasit, O one whose lifespan is great, Virat. In this way, King Puranjana begot 1,100 sons within the womb of his wife. Puranjani, however, in this business, he passed away his half of his lifespan. Text 7. O Puranjanabadi, King Prachinabasit said, in this way, King Puranjana also begot 110 daughters. All of these were equally glorified like the father and mother. Their behavior was gentle and they possessed magnanimity and other good qualities. Text 8. After this, King Puranjana, king of the Panchala country, in order to increase the descendant of his paternal family, married his son with qualified wives and married his daughters with qualified husbands. Text 9. Of these many sons, each produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons. In this way, the whole city of Panchala became overcrowded by these sons and grandsons of King Puranjana. Text 10. These sons and grandsons were virtually plundered of King Puranjana's riches, including his homes, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep rooted. Hare Krishna.
So straightforward verses on the big family. Now Shila Narad Muni in the next verse goes on to disclose to Prachini Barisat that Puranjana is actually Prachini Barisat. Uncle, verse 11 translation and purport paragraph number 1 as well as 12 translation.
Hare Krishna, chapter 11. Translation. The great sage Narada continued, My dear King Prachina Varishat, like you, King Puranjana also became implicated in so many desires. Thus he worshipped demigods, forefathers and social leaders with various sacrifices which were all very ghastly because they were inspired by the desire to kill animals. Purport. In this verse, the great sage Narada discloses that the character of Puranjana was being described to give lessons to King Prashina Barishat. Actually, the entire description was figuratively describing the activities of King Prashina Barishat. In this verse, Narada frankly says, like you, Yata Bhavan, which indicates that King Puranjana is more than the King Prashina Varishat himself, being a great Vaishnava. Narada Muni wanted to stop animal killing in sacrifices. He knew that if he tried to stop the king from performing sacrifices, the king would not hear him. Therefore, he is describing the life of Puranjana. But in this verse, he first discloses the intention, although not fully by saying, like you. Generally, the karmis who are attached to the increasing descendants have to perform so many sacrifices and worship so many demigods for future generations and satisfy so many leaders, politicians, philosophers, and scientists to make things to go on properly for future generations. The so-called scientists are very eager to see that future generation will live very comfortably, and as such, they are trying to find different means of generating energy to drive locomotives, cars, airplanes, and so on. Now they are exhausting their petroleum supply. These activities are described in Bhagavad Gita 2.41. You want me to continue, Prabhuji?
Just the translation.
Those who are on the spiritual path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Actually, those who are in...
Now, verse 12 translation.
Yes. Verse 12, translation. The king Puranjana, being attached to fruitive activities like karmakantiya, as well as the kith and kin, and being obsessed with polluted consciousness, eventually arrived at the point of not very much liked by those who are overly attached to material things. Hare Krishna.
So straightforward part about the expansion of Puranjana's family and Narad Muni disclosing that Puranjana is Prachani Barisat himself. Now part 3 is verses 13 to 18. Chandvega attacks Puranjana's city. Again, there is a comparison of various characters as we read through. Kalyani or Aditi or Sridhar Prabhu, 1314 translation. Sridhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, verse number
1314.
O king, in Gandharva Loka there is a king named Chandavega. Under him there are 360 very powerful Gandharva soldiers. 14. Along with Chandavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
So all these characters, what they actually represent. So Chandavega represents time in years. Gandharvas represents days, means 360 days every year. Gandharvis represents nights, 360 nights every year. The white pair of Gandharvas represents the waxing phase of the moon, and the black pairs of Gandharvas refers to the waning phase of the moon. And Chandavega and his followers surrounded the city and plundered refers to from birth every day one's lifespan is stolen by time. Shivangi, 15 to 17 translations.
Hare Krishna, text 15. When King Gandharva Raja Chandvega and his followers began to plunder the city of Puranjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the city. The 5-hooded serpent, the superintendent and protector of the city of King Puranjana, fought with the Gandharvas for 100 years. He fought alone with all of them, although they numbered 720. Because he had to fight alone with so many soldiers, all of whom were great warriors, the serpent with 5 hoods became very weak. Seeing that his most intimate friend was weakening, King Puranjana and his friends and citizens living within the city all became very anxious.
So the 5-hooded serpent represents the life air, and fighting for 100 years generally is the lifespan. Thus, he becomes weak. Now, verse 18 describes Carvaka's philosophy. Gopal, 18 translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 18 translation. King Pranjana collected taxes in the city known as Panchala, and thus was able to engage in sexual indulgence. Being completely under the control of women, he could not understand that his life was passing away, that he was reaching the point of death. Purport. Government men, including kings, presidents, secretaries, and ministers, are in a position to utilize taxes collected from the citizens for sense gratification. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that in this Kali Yuga, government men, Rajanyas, and those connected with the government, as well as exalted government ministers, secretaries, and presidents, with all simply collect taxes for sense gratification. The government is top heavy, and without increasing taxes, the government cannot maintain itself. When taxes are collected, they are utilized for the sense gratification of the government officials. Such irresponsible politicians forget that there is a time when death will come to take away all their sense gratification. Some of them are convinced that after life, everything is finished. This atheistic theory was conceived long ago by a philosopher called Charvaka. Charvaka recommended that man should live very opulently by either begging, borrowing, or stealing. He also maintained that one should not be afraid of death. The next life, the past life, or an impious life become because after the body is burned to ashes, everything is finished. This is the philosophy of those who are too much materially addicted. Such philosophizing will not save one from the danger of death, nor will it save one from an abominable afterlife. Hare Krishna.
So government is top heavy, is very evident all over the world. And government is collecting taxes simply for their own sense gratification rather than using the taxes for the benefit of citizens. And this Charvaka's philosophy that he says everyone should live opulently, eat, drink, and sleep, be merry. He should live opulently by begging, borrowing, or stealing, because it does not matter, he says. After this life, next life does not matter. Well, that is all incorrect. Prabhupada says such Charvaka's philosophy is for materially addicted persons. Such philosophizing will not save anyone from the danger of death. So we don't have to follow such incorrect philosophy. Questions, comments, realizations?
Currently, this situation happens. And, for sense gratification, they are collecting taxes.
Correct.
And no service to society.
Correct. Yeah, so Bhagavatam was written so long ago, it already is telling what the future will be, means where we are now. Bhagavatam already knew. Srila Vyasadeva already saw all of this.
And I do not know what else is going to happen.
Yeah, Bhagavatam gives everything. So Canto 2, Chapter 10 is the chapter is titled Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer for everything. So obviously Bhagavatam knows the future and provides everything. So we don't have to worry about the bad part of Kali Yuga. It is really badly described in Bhagavatam. We hope that we go back home, back to Godhead before we even
Yes.
reach Canto 12. And all that the real Kali Yuga part is described. We should aim to go back home, back to Godhead even before we reach discussing Canto 12.
Correct, Prabhu. 100% it is going like that.
Yeah, very good.
Please repeat it. That is Canto 12 or 2? I couldn't hear properly.
Yeah, in Canto 12, there's detailed description. I mean, it's there throughout Bhagavatam also. Canto 12 has the real bad part of the Kali Yuga described, that when the real Kali Yuga will flourish after the first 10,000 years within the Kali Yuga, which are known as Satyug, where we are right now. After this 10,000 years of Satyug within Kali Yuga, the real Kali Yuga will flourish, and it is very horrible. So these 10,000 years are calculated from the day of appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these 10,000 years, about 500 years have passed. So we don't even have to worry about the remaining 9,500. Our aim should be that we don't need to reach Canto 12. We should go back home, back to Godhead before we reach discussing Canto 12.
In a nutshell, you are conveying that you should not worry for rebirth at all. Go back to God home, be there.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And it's very horrible. I don't even recommend reading that. It's that horrible. So don't read Canto 12 about that part. Just take the word that it is very horrible. All right, so now the entrance of old age or jara is also described through a story. So part 4 is verses 19 to 30. The story of Kalakanya, the daughter of Chandvega, is described. So I will first describe what some of the characters represent. Kalakanya is daughter of time, is Jara or old age. Chandvega is time in years, we already discussed. Prajwara is Vishnu Jwara, means the fever sent by Vishnu. The fever can be of two kinds, they're hot or cold. And Yavana Raja is the king of Yavan. And Yavana Raja's soldiers are diseases, means Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika. So Kalkanya or Jara or old age is seeking a husband, but no one is agreeing to accept her because she is ill-fated. Mother Jija, 1920 translation.
Text 19. My dear king, Prachina Bari said, and this time the daughter of formidable time was seeking her husband throughout the three worlds. Although no one agreed to accept her, she came. Text 20. The daughter of time, Jara, was very unfortunate. Consequently, she was known as Drubhaga, ill-fated. However, she was once pleased with a great king, and because the king accepted her, she granted him a great benediction. Hare Krishna.
But nobody is ready to accept Kalkanya. So Kalkanya now approaches Srila Narad Muni and curses Srila Narad Muni upon refusal by Srila Narad Muni. So in verse 21 also describes the benefit of being Naishtaki Brahmachari. Uncle, 21, 22 translation and purports, faster pace. Unmute, uncle.
I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. Translation 21. When I once came to this earth from Brahmaloka, the highest planetary system, the daughter of time wandering over the universe, met me, knowing me to be an old brahmachari. She became lusty and proposed that I accept her. Purport. The great sage Narada Muni was Nastika Brahmachari, that is, he never had sex life. He was consequently an evergreen youth. Old age, Jara, could not attack him. The invalidity of old age can overcome an ordinary man, but Narada Muni was different. Taking Narada Muni to be an ordinary man, the daughter of time confronted him with her lusty desire. It requires great strength to resist woman's attraction. It is difficult for old men. And what to speak of young? Those who live in brahmachari, as brahmachari must follow the footsteps of the great sage Narada Muni, who never accepted the proposals of Jara. Those who are too much sexually addicted becomes victims of Jara, and very soon their lifespan is shortened. Without utilizing the human form of life for Krishna consciousness, the victims of Jara die very soon in this world. Text 22. Translation. The great sage Narada continued, when I refused to accept her request, she became very angry at me and cursed me severely because I refused her request. She said that I would not be able to stay in one place for a long time. Purport. The great sage Narada Muni has a spiritual body, therefore old age, disease, birth, and death do not affect him. Narada is the most kind devotee of Supreme Lord, and his only business is to travel all over the universe and preach God consciousness. In other words, his business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. Under the circumstances, there is ordinarily no need for him to stay in one place for more than the time he requires to preach. Since by his own free will, he is already traveling all over the universe. The curse of Kalakanya is described as fortunate. Like Narada Muni, many other devotees of the Lord are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord in different places and in different universes. Such personalities are beyond the jurisdiction of material laws. Hare Krishna.
So, benefit of Naishtaki Brahmachari is described that the Naishtaki Brahmachari is always youthful, old age, disease do not attack them. And Shri Narad Muni is the most kind devotee of the Supreme Lord, and his only business is to travel all over the universe and preach God consciousness. His business is to make everyone a Vaishnava. Therefore, the curse of Kalakanya is actually fortunate. That the curse is that Narad Muni cannot stay at one place for a long time. That actually is fortunate. That's exactly what Narad Muni does, just keeps traveling everywhere. So, because nobody is accepting Kalakanya, therefore now Kalakanya approaches Bhaya. Bhaya means fear. Shivangi, 23, 24 translation, and then 24 purport paragraph number 2, which starts if a person in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, text 23 translation. After she was thus disappointed by me, with my permission, she approached the king of the Yavanas, whose name was Bhaya, fear, and she accepted him as her husband. According to 24 translation. Approaching the king of the Yavanas, Kalakanya addressed him as a great hero, saying, My dear sir, you are the best of the untouchables. I am in love with you and I want you as my husband. I know that no one is baffled if he makes friends with you. If a person is Krishna conscious, he can work like a young man even if he is 75 or 80 years old. Thus, the daughter of Kala time cannot overcome a Vaishnava. Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami engaged in writing Chaitanya Charitamrita when he was very old, yet he presented the most wonderful literature about the activities of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami began their spiritual lives at a very old age, that is, after they retired from their occupations and family lives, yet they presented many valuable literatures for the advancement of spiritual life. This is confirmed by Srila Srinivasa Acharya, who praised the Goswamis in this way. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are all honored over all 3 worlds, and they are worthy of taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Thus, Jara, the effect of old age, does not harass the devotee. This is because the devotee follows the instructions and the determination of Narad Muni. All devotees are in the disciplic succession stemming from Narad Muni because they worship the deity according to Narad Muni's direction, namely the Narada Pancharatra or the Pancharatrika Vidhi. A devotee who follows the principles of Pancharatrika Vidhi as well as Bhagavata Vidhi. A devotee follows the principles of Panchatrika Vidhi as well as Bhagavata Vidhi. Bhagavata Vidhi includes preaching work, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, the hearing and chanting of the glories of Lord Vishnu, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Pancharatrika Vritti includes Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Because the devotee rigidly follows the instructions of Nagmani, he has no fear of old age, disease, or death. Apparently, a devotee may grow old, but he is not subjected to the symptoms of defeat experienced by a common man in old age. Consequently, old age does not make a devotee fearful of death, as a common man is fearful of death. When Jara or old age takes shelter of a devotee, Kalakanya diminishes the devotee's fear. A devotee knows that after death, he is going back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he has no fear of death. Thus, instead of depressing a devotee, advanced age helps him become fearless and thus happy.
So old age does not affect a devotee. It's also described in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2.3. Very easy reference to remember. Canto 3, chapter 2, verse 3. And the purport example of Uddhava is given that in the material world, we retire, we get tired. Therefore, we need breaks, we need to retire. But in the spiritual world, there's no such thing as retirement. And actually, with old age, the service actually increases. The rest of the chapter is pretty straightforward. Mother Chandra Aunty, 25 to 27 translations.
Next 25. One who does not give charity according to the customs or injunctions of the scriptures, and one who does not accept charity in that way are considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Such persons follows the path of the foolish. Surely they must lament at the end. 626. Kalakanya continued, O gentle one, I am now present before you to serve you. Please accept me and thus show me mercy. It is a gentleman's greatest duty to be compassionate upon a person who is distressed. 627. After hearing the statement of Kalakanya, daughter of the time, the king of the Vayanas began to smile and devise a means for executing his confidential duty on behalf of Providence. He then addressed Kalakanya as follows.
So, executing the confidential duty on behalf of Providence. So, what is Lord's desire? The Lord's desire was to put the wheel of samsara into motion, and that's what is going on, to put the wheel of samsara into motion. Mother Jija, 28 to 30 translation, straightforward verses.
Text 28. The king of the Yavanas replied, after much consideration, I have arrived at a husband for you. Actually, as far as everyone is concerned, you are inauspicious and mischievous. Since no one likes you, how can anyone accept you as his wife? Text 29. This world is a product of fruitive activities. Therefore, you may imperceptibly attack people in battle. Helped by my soldiers, you can kill them without opposition. Text 30. The king of the Yavanas continued, here is my brother Prajavara. I now accept you as my sister. I shall employ both of you as well as my dangerous soldiers to act.
Mother Jija is disconnected. Gopal, you want to finish reading the verses?
Hare Krishna, text 30 translation. The king of the Yavanas continued, here is my brother Prajavra, I now accept you as my sister. I shall employ both of you as well as my dangerous soldiers to act imperceptibly within this world. Hare Krishna. This ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of 4th canto, 27th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Attack by Chandavega on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya. Hare Krishna.
All right. Let me quickly give you spiritual endeavor so I can show you YouTube channel. Question number 1. Define the word pramad. Is from chapter 27, verse 3. Question 2. What is Carvaka's philosophy? Comes from 27 chapter verse 18. Number 3. Describe the effect of old age on a devotee. From verse 24. And for next class, read Canto 4, chapter 28. Is a slightly longer chapter compared to the discussions so far. So follow the screen, what I'm about to show you. So with help from Sumnima from the other batch, as well as from Dayamai Radha and Surbi Mataji from the Toronto Temple. Some of you may know Dayamai as Debija. So they all helped me creating this YouTube channel. I will be giving you access. So the YouTube channel name is SpiritualBooks-Rama, my name. And I have created playlist for the various topics. This is work in progress. Some I have uploaded the videos. It's a lot of endeavor for me as well as the other devotees helping me. So you can see, I mean, when you will get access, you have to expand. By default, it shows only 10 rows, and expand to higher count, and it will show all the playlists. So right now, you can see Bhagavad Gita. It also shows you how many lectures are uploaded. Then you have Canto 4 revision in brief. So far, whatever we have done. Canto 3 revision in brief. And you all did the presentation on Bhagavatam. They are also uploaded here for all of you. And then I will be uploading Canto 4 ongoing, Canto 3 recordings. And then we also have Ekadashi, Bhoga offering, Sanskrit, how to take darshan, Shishopanishad, revision, Shishopanishad, Nectar of Devotion revision. And then similarly, all these are coming up, like Canto 1 inquiries, Nectar of Instruction revision, Canto 1 revision, Bhagavad Gita revision, Nectar of Instruction, everything is coming up. Now, in YouTube, this playlist alphabetical order is not possible at least right now. So you just have to search. You can filter, you can search here, or you can just scroll through to find. Now, Mother Jija at least had asked me long time ago to provide all the recordings of the presentation that she did. I couldn't even reach that request because it's just too much of a task for me to upload hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that I have to upload. So what you have to do is you go to a particular playlist. Your view could be different than what you are seeing on my view. You find playlist. Once you log in, you find playlist and you will see all this. So if you want to review Bhagavad Gita, so far there are only 4 lectures. But everything is coming up very, very soon. You can see there are actually more lectures getting uploaded by other devotees as we talk. And you can just click on the lecture and it will play. You go back and say you want to see you all did the presentations for the Bhagavatam. They are all listed by your names. So you click and it will play your particular presentation. Now, previously we had this issue of the recordings not playing on the phone. That issue is resolved once these recordings are uploaded onto Zoom. Or say later sometime you feel like you want to revise Canto 3, you just click this playlist and you click videos on the side, and all the units revisions, they are there in one place, so you can just review. Now understand, this is a minefield, so don't get carried away with this. Just follow what you want to do. So at least for Mother Jija, when she had asked me that she wanted all her presentations, they are already uploaded. So Canto 3 presentations, you all did the presentations, are already here, as well as you did the bigger Bhagavatam presentations. They are also uploaded here. You just have to click to your particular link and you will get. So as we speak, we are in the process. So right now you can see a devotee is uploading. The count was 4 when we were talking, and now it's 10 because there's another devotee, Surbi Mataji. She is in the process of uploading these videos. I mean, Sumnima is also uploading. I'm also uploading. It's a lot of endeavor to upload all of this. So I will be giving you access for this, that you will have access to everything. I'm not going to give you individual access. You will have access to everything. Before you can start reviewing, you will have to validate, you will have to verify your access or on the YouTube or through Gmail. It will give you some notification to validate that it's you, and then you will be able to see anything and everything on here. There are already a lot of videos uploaded and it's work in progress. I'm going to upload everything. Now do understand that for Canto 1, I'm going to upload batch 3 and 4 class recordings, not your class recordings. As well as for Canto 2, I'm going to upload batch 3 and 4 because that's the latest. For Canto 1 revision, I'm going to upload batch 3 and 4 because for your batch 1 and 2, at least for the first 3 units, I recall at least 2 or 3 units, you did not do the revision in batch 1 and 2 because we all were busy with so many other endeavors. So you have to understand what is there. And of course, whatever recording you are looking at, you will see that the naming convention is rock solid, that it tells you RVd4 means this is batch 3 and 4 and Bhagavatam, date and canto and chapter and verses, as well as the brief description or the crux of the discussion. The naming convention is anyway rock solid. Questions, comments, realizations, Shivangi?
Prabhuji, I think I just checked it. It's all publicly accessible.
Yeah, you are correct.
Okay, but you said something about giving a link and
Yeah, so
giving
I will.
access.
Yeah, you will get a link. Now, not everybody is tech savvy like you, Shivangi. So I will give you access where you will have read-only access. And you are correct that I started creating this channel as a private, but then I realized, well, it's there are devotees across all batches, and I just changed it to public. So thank you, Shivangi, for looking it up. Yeah, all of you can simply look up this name, Spiritual Books Ram Vilas, and the way Shivangi found, you will also find. But I will anyway give you a link with
Yes,
that
Prabhu, you can
access.
find on. I have already subscribed now.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, you all can subscribe, but I will anyway give you that link. You will have that permanent link and permanent access to everything in YouTube. So I mean, there are it's a humongous task on my part, because I have multiple computers and these recordings are at different places. Although they are very nicely organized, still is a lot of endeavor to upload all of these recordings one by one, and then there are so many settings that I have to choose for each one individually. So stay patient. I'm in process of uploading everything, and you will have everything. Although what Mother Jija had asked ahead of time, those are already uploaded for you, Mother Jija. So you can go to this devotees presenting Srimad Bhagavatam batch 1 and 2. Your presentation is there, as well as your presentations for Canto 3 and Canto 4. They are already uploaded here. Everybody? Any questions, comments, realizations?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for putting together this
Yes,
database.
Prabhuji.
It's a lot
Thank
of
you so
work.
A
much.
great endeavor, Prabhu.
It will
Thank
be
you.
very, very great.
Yeah, all glories of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. I'm only here to serve you all. It actually started by Sumnima's
Idea.
she initiated this. She said it's easy, we just put, because Sumnima also helps me in distributing the recordings every week to devotees. So we spend a lot of time handing out recordings, and then devotees ask for recordings later on again, and we have to go back and search which recording. So she said, just let's put on YouTube. And yeah, it to set this up was quite an endeavor. And of course, to upload is also quite an endeavor,
Of course.
because I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recordings to upload. And it takes a lot of time to upload and to go and edit each one of them. So you saw that as you see the recording, if whosoever will be seeing, that this count was 4 when I started showing. Now it's 10 because the devotee is uploading. And if you actually see, some will still show as pending. Right, let's see. Well, these are all uploaded. Let's see. Yeah, these are all uploaded. But while we upload, while YouTube does the checking and everything, it still is a lot of effort. Anyway, I will be sending you the link with that access. So what you can see is okay on the through public YouTube, but I will anyway give you a link. So
It
those
is
who
amazing,
do,
Prabhu. We generally, look at COVID in a negative way. What has come out of COVID is so positive. First and foremost, we made them move the classes during COVID so that we continue in spirituality
Correct.
net. And that has continued, that enabled people from anywhere in the world to attend.
Anywhere.
We could actually enroll people anywhere, whoever we feel like.
yeah, you are
to
correct.
the
And
class.
actually
And
it
now
was
it has
Gopal Prabhu.
accumulated so much, and now we have got a YouTube.
Anytime we
Amazing
can
edit.
use.
Yeah.
Really, Krishna's mercy. Really.
And you are correct that COVID actually had a lot of benefit to open up the classes. And actually it was Gopal Prabhu who during COVID time said, oh, let's continue the classes. We first did it via phone calls, whosoever used to attend. And then we went on to Zoom. And actually you can use this YouTube platform for your preaching. That somebody, you give them Bhagavad Gita, or somebody says, I don't understand Bhagavad Gita. Send them a link that you take class number 1. They are all in sequential order. You take class number 1 and you click the 3 dots and you take shareable link and you send that link to anybody. And they will just listen and they will get attracted to Bhagavad Gita. So you can use this platform not just for yourself, but to expand your preaching. And whatever refresher you want to do, so you also have Bhagavad Gita revision as one of the playlists here, where the most recent, you have Bhagavad Gita revision. So the batch 3 and 4 did the revisions very recently. If you want a refresher, it's right here. So just click and refresh, and you can just get caught up on whatever you want to refresh. Or say sometimes you had a question, you will say, I recall we had discussed at a particular topic at so and so class. You just go to that particular class recording and just listen. So this will get populated with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recordings very soon. As we speak, other devotees are also helping in populating. I'm also populating, but I can only do so much because I have to hand over the recordings to them, and I also do. So it's a lot of endeavor. This has been work in progress for last 2 weeks or more to what we have so far. All right. Thank you all for tolerating a few extra minutes. I will be sending you links for all of this, and we will connect next week. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
so
thank you,
much,
everybody.
Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Making everything easy for like me, people.
All
Thank
glories
you.
are always
Thank
for
you.
Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.